So you want a bird room and you want to know what a bird room is, then this is the video for you. Hi, my name is Donna and I have a bird room with 26 birds. Yes, 26 birds! You're so pretty, you are. So what is a bird room? A bird room is a designated room for your birds to move around freely in a safe environment. It will keep your birds busy for hours at a time, even when you don't have the time to be in the room with them. They won't get into anything toxic, chew up any household items, or poop all over your house. A bird room can be an enriching environment to encourage flight and to get the exercise that they need. A bird room is a designated room for cages, play stands, cargo nets, buoys, swings, hanging perches, plants, baths, and more that would be impossible or impractical to have in your living space. A bird room can be used strictly as a playroom during the day or when you are busy, or it can be used as a full-time bird room. It gives them an opportunity for them to make noise that they are designed to do, which helps with their and our stress levels. They can make all the noise in the bird room that they want and it won't bother us too much. A bird room is usually a spare room that isn't being used, such as a spare bedroom, a guest room, an office, a sunroom, a porch, attic, or unused garages. Having a bird room can allow you to expand the size and diversity of your flock. Bird rooms can help separate birds from other pets or family members that may be allergic to birds. Decide on what species of birds that you will be added to the bird room before setting up the room. A room for small birds will differ from a room for medium birds or large birds. Make sure to find an avian veterinarian before getting any birds. It's best to start a relationship with your veterinarian by bringing your new birds in for a wellness check or viral check-in before introducing them to your flock. If your birds get sick, it may be hard to find a vet and to get seen quickly if you don't have a relationship with the veterinarian. Having a bird room with multiple birds can produce a lot of mess. You will need to clean every day and need the time and stamina for cleaning. Bird rooms can be very expensive, so make sure you can afford the extra cost. The initial cost will be high when first setting up the bird room. Food and toys will be an ongoing cost along with vet care. Feeding the birds can be time consuming. Chopping up the fresh foods, soaking seeds and sprouting, changing water, giving dry food will take time each day. Once you have a routine, it will become easier and be a normal part of your daily life. Before considering a bird room, make sure it's okay with your landlord, or better yet, it's best to own your own home. If renting and you have to move, you may not be able to find a new place that will allow you to have a bird room or pets at all. The new place may be too small and you may have to rehome most of your birds or all of your birds. A detached home is best. If you live in a semi-detached or an apartment, your neighbors may complain about the noise. Remember, a bird room isn't a room where you put your bird's cage in and nothing else is added and you hardly interact with your birds. It's all about enrichment and giving them the exercise that they need. The downsides to having a bird room is that certain birds may not get along, or they may get along too good. It may cause problems if birds are left alone for too long, especially if you only have one bird or a needy socialized bird. It may cause excessive screaming for attention. It may be a challenge to spend more time with them since they are not in your living space. You may have to rehome birds that don't work out in the bird rooms for their benefit and to keep peace in the bird room. There may be fighting that goes unnoticed and injury to the birds may occur. Having play stands in your living area is beneficial for your social birds so that they can interact with you while you can't be in the bird room. A change in scenery can ward off being territorial in the same space, such as a bird room or in a bird cage. Safety should be your first concern on making a bird room for your birds. It's best to clear out the room, remove any mirrors, ceiling fans, toxic plants, decorative items, or anything that can be toxic or harmful to your birds. Encase any electrical wires in plastic tubing and keep them out of reach. Use bird-safe light bulbs, so some bulbs can emit toxic fumes. You wouldn't want that. Mark the windows with decals to show that there is a window, or you can place a sheer curtain so that they know a window is there and they won't fly into it. Sheer curtains with a pattern on them work the best so they can see the pattern. Bird-proof electrical outlets with baby-proof caps. Use the same color as the outlets or bland colors, as you know birds are attracted to bright colors. Make sure there is ventilation for healthy lungs and respiratory systems, and that they can get heat or air conditioning if needed. The bird room temperature is best at 65 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit, depending on the species of birds. The bird room should be designed for easy cleanup. Tile or vinyl floors are easiest to clean. They can be vacuumed and mopped easily. When painting the walls, use low VOC or no VOC, as other paints give off toxic gases that can be deadly to your birds. Use proper ventilation and avoid putting birds into the room for a few weeks or longer after you've painted. Use a high gloss or semi-gloss paint that is easier to wipe. Flat paints are very difficult to clean. Do your research on which is the safest paint to use for your bird room. Plastic panels on the wall will help with easier cleanup than drywall. It can help prevent your birds from chewing the walls. Plastic chair mats under the cages make it easy to clean, and it protects your floor. Clear plastic floor runners on the top of the cages help catch the droppings from the birds that land and play above the cage. Most birds poop when landing or taken off. It's easy to wipe it off at the end of the day and helps keep the cage below clean, and it stops the droppings from landing inside the birds' cages. Hang cargo nets, swings, or perches above the cages so that the poop is contained in one area for easy cleanup, or make sure to have paper or plastic floor runners under the play areas for easy cleanup. It's best to use garbage cans that have a flip-top lid that you can close. Avoid using swinging or push-top doors, as birds may accidentally go in. Use unscented garbage bags. Use stainless steel hooks for hanging nets, swings, and perches. Remember that birds explore with their feet and their beaks. Use bird-safe cleaning products. Vinegar and water is safe to use. There are several bird-safe products on the market that you can also use. Air filters are highly recommended to keep the air clean, especially if you have dusty birds like cockatiels, cockatoos, or ringnecks, or any bird, as they all produce dander, and it's best to keep the air clean for you and your birds. An additional heater may be needed if the bird room is colder than the rest of the house or in the colder months. A humidifier is useful in the drier weather or when the humidity is low. Birds will scratch and possibly pluck their feathers if the humidity is low. So keep it clean, as it can breed mold and bacteria when dirty. Avoid using chemicals, fragrances, or medicines to the water. You want to just use plain water. And do your research on choosing your air cleaner, humidifier, or heater, as they come in various sizes and have different functions, and some are not safe. Remember that new appliances may contain Teflon, which is toxic to your birds. Run it in a separate room or outside to burn off the Teflon before using it near your birds for a couple of weeks. Exhaust fans can be helpful to air out the room. You can open your windows or doors that can bring in fresh air and take out stale air. Just make sure you have a screen or a mesh over the openings so your birds can't fly out. Skylights can allow natural sunlight to come in, but just remember that glass can block 90% of UV rays and screens can block around 30%. There are full spectrum lights for your birds that you can buy, but do your research, as some produce little to no UV rays. Too much artificial light can cause eye issues such as cataracts. It's best to put your birds outside in the warmer months to get their natural sunlight that they need. Cameras are great for keeping an eye on your birds while you are out of the room. You can monitor your flock without them knowing you are watching. Birds hide illness and may look normal while you're in the room, and they may show illness while you're out of the room. You can watch for any bullies. Birds may behave nicely when you're in the room, but will chase or bully other birds while you are out. You will have to separate the bullies from the rest of your flock. French doors or screen doors are great for view and pleasure for you and your birds if you have straight through viewing from your living room space to your bird room. Window perches or play stands in front of the window can provide visual enrichment. Just be wary of predators such as hawks or cats that can come up to the window and scare your birds. Music or nature sounds can provide auditorial enrichment, or it can add to the chaos and make your birds more excited, so use your own judgment. Hang perches, swings, and nets on both sides or all sides of the room to encourage back and forth flying. Birds that cannot fly or that cannot fully fly will need to be able to climb throughout the room. Provide long bird ladders from the floor up to the cages and place perches, nets, and swings close together for easy access. You can ladder them so they can navigate the room. Using anti-fatigue mats or soft children's mats on the floor will help cushion their fall and help prevent their keel bone from being damaged. Cages are recommended if you have more than one bird or more than one species. Cages offer the birds a safe area to go to when they want a break from the rest of the flock, or to eat, drink, rest, or to be alone. Cages are useful if one bird does not get along with another. They can be rotated out of the cage for a more pleasant experience. Choosing the species of birds for your bird room. This is a very important step. Decide if you will be adding only one species or a mixed species. Remember, beak size matters. Avoid mixing small beaks with large beaks. It can be very dangerous. Or soft bills with hook bills, but it can work depending on which species you choose. It's best to mix birds of similar size and dispositions. Individual birds that are very dominant or aggressive should not be put into the bird room with other birds. Avoid mixing aggressive species with other aggressive species. Decide on the number of birds. The smaller the bird room, the more critical the selection of the birds in the room. Will you have pairs? Having pairs may create a problem if you have a third bird of the same species. A pair may want to breed and become territorial and fight or chase other birds. You may have to remove the pair to another room for safety. The bigger the better for a bird room with pairs so they can fly away from each other. If your plan for the bird room is to breed, then it may not be ideal. Most breeding birds need their own space and become aggressive when breeding. If some birds breed in the bird room, they may be stressed by other birds flying and playing near their cage. Breeding birds will fight to protect their nest and their babies. It's best to have a bird room for enrichment and exercise only. It's important to remember that there are no guarantees that two birds will get along, even within the same species. This is true if you add a bird later on, as the first bird may be territorial of a space or another bird. Lots of supervision is needed when introducing a new bird to your flock. Rehoming birds that don't work out in the bird room may be necessary to keep the peace in the bird room. Quarantine any new birds for 30 to 40 days and get them checked by an avian veterinarian before introducing them to your flock. A new bird may be carrying a potentially contagious disease, mites or lice, that can spread throughout your flock, and you wouldn't want that. It's best to treat the one bird than the rest of your flock. Another challenge in the bird room is dietary differences. This means that certain species may have to be fed in their cages before being let out into the bird room. It's best to provide several feeding and water stations throughout the room to prevent food guarding. I find it easier to mix smaller species than larger species. Some larger species are very territorial and aggressive with each other, such as Quakers, Caiques, Senegals, or ringnecks. I also find it's better having all males. Females tend to fight with each other, especially budgies. Males can fight as well, especially over females. When mixing males and females, it may cause issues during breeding season. Lots of fighting may occur. In my opinion, the best birds to have in a bird room is cockatiels, linneys, borks, turquoisine, and canaries. They all have similar dispositions. Avoid parrotlets, lovebirds, conures. They are feet biters and can be very aggressive with other birds. I got lucky with my one male lovebird, as he's a sweetie and gets along with all my other birds. I don't recommend mixing lovebirds with other species, especially if you have a female. They can be a little nasty. Or a pair of lovebirds, as they will fight with all your birds. I also don't recommend mixing lorikeets with other birds. I do have a Goldie's lorikeet though, and I do have to take turns letting him out, as he can be aggressive with other birds. So please do your research and use caution to which birds you will put into the bird room. However, don't let this discourage you just yet. Keeping several species together is possible if you choose the right species and introduce them slowly. Always keep educating yourself, as bird care is always improving for the betterment of our pet birds, especially their diet. A bird room is not a specific size, it can be any size. The size will matter dependent on which species you put in it and how many birds. Enjoy your bird room and click on the video on the screen for more bird room videos.